The following program is brought to you by Cloudcast Media, a podcast leader in developing shows to elevate local brands, local stories, and local storytellers. Cloudcast, bringing ears and minds home.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and it's always great when we have folks chatting about and shouting out and high-fiving on the SoCal Cyber Cub Challenge, and today is no different. We got Lillian Maestas. She has been a long-time guest on this radio show. She's the STEM chair for the National Defense Industrial Association, and she brought some of her friends with her today over here. Lillian, how you doing?
I'm great, Drew, and good to be back again.
No, it's terrific. You always give some great content, and it was good seeing you at a Fleet Week shindig a while ago and so forth, so that's terrific. Joining you is Bill Reid. He's the Academic Program Director BS Cybersecurity for National University. How you doing there, Bill?
I'm doing just great, Drew.
How long you been with National?
Right. So far, I've been with National about 8 years, coming up on 8 years.
That's terrific. So our good friends at National, we see them all the time. Nancy Rowland is a frequent guest of ours at SD Mac, and of course, Michael Cunningham has been on the show, and David Andrews and all the folks that you know over there. So National University just does some amazing stuff in this community, and will continue to do so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so also joining us is Nelson Mozzini. He's the project manager for the Haiku Cyber Range. Talk about that.
Hi, Drew. So our Haiku Cyber Range is a safe environment for everybody to learn and understand cybersecurity. Just like you would go to a gym or to work out, or you go to a gun range to target practice, people need a place to go practice and learn cybersecurity skills, and that's what our Haiku Cyber Range offers. Right,
and the parent company is Syntech Global, and I want to applaud you folks for just always being there for supporting such great programs such as this. And as far as we're concerned, Lillian knows this because we're sort of a broken record, but that is okay. Got to be a broken record. There is nothing more important than teaching our young kids and old kids like me how important it is to be on top of your game with cybersecurity and so forth. Lillian, let's start with you. What is the SoCal Cyber Cub Challenge?
So, Drew, it's a challenge where we have middle school and high school kids sign up to participate and get educated and trained in the Haiku range. And they go through a practice, a qualification round, and then it culminates in finals. And each one, they're learning more about cybersecurity. And then if they make it to the finals, then that we end up over at the University of San Diego, and we have a day event. Again, they are challenged on the Haiku range with cybersecurity exercises. And then the winners, they're scored along the way, so we get a ranking. And then the teams receive grant money and just awards in recognition of their hard work.
So are people, is it too late to sign up for the challenge, or can people still do it?
Oh, yes. No, it's challenges, sign-ups are open until the end of January, so okay. January 31st of 2020.
And where do they go to sign up?
They go to the www.ndia-sd.org,
right,
and then they can search for SoCal Cyber Cub.
Right. And so is it for elementary school students? Is it middle school students? Is it middle school and high school students?
So it's middle school and high school.
Right.
And not necessarily students, although they're all students. Right. What I mean by that is it's not necessarily have to be a school. You can be in the boys' club or the girls' club. So the age requirement basically is 10 years old up to 17. That ranges the middle school to high school.
Right.
And we do this in two divisions. We have the junior division, which is the middle school, and then we have the high school division, which is the varsity.
Right. And one of the requirements is you must have a coach, okay? But the coach could be the neighbor down the street, correct?
Correct.
You do not have to be a cyber expert like Nelson and Bill, all right? I barely know how 2 tin cans and a string work. I'll tell you that right now, for God's sake. You just want someone who's passionate about this, correct?
It's an adult, basically, the coach.
Right.
Somebody to coordinate the teams, to get them to the challenges. And but what we do provide is mentors that do have the skills like Bill and Nelson.
Right, and I think that's so important. How many teams are you looking to have this year? As many as possible.
As many as possible, exactly. We're in 5 southern counties.
Right.
And that reaches over 1 million kids in over 130 school districts in the 5 counties that we have this challenge in. So, again, we're open until the end of January. Sign-ups right now, I think we're at 350 students.
Good.
So let's double that and do more.
All right, here's the challenge, everybody. Come on, don't be thinking that holiday season you can't be doing some of this stuff. Bill, talk about your role and how you support this effort.
Well, so first off, National University has been designated as a Center of Academic Excellence by NSA and DHS. And part of that designation requires us to go out into the community, serving in community outreach functions. So we partner with Haiku Range and NDIA. We provide volunteers, not only in mentoring, but in setting up the competition, helping to create scenarios for the competition, and and whatever else is necessary. Both faculty and student volunteers support the effort.
So how did you get into this? When you were a little kid, were you playing with the Rector sets and said, this isn't good enough? The next thing you know...
Well, actually, I started as computing as a hobby back in '82, when computing first got started.
Commodore and those,
I still have my Commodore VIC-20. Yes,
Beautiful.
I do. Yes, I do.
Surprised I even knew that, right? Yeah. So it's been in your blood, so to speak.
It's been in my blood, yes, yes. It's just my hobby. And so I love working in my hobby. I actually started mentoring about 5 years ago, and I just love it. I love it.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to chat with you more about NU cybersecurity programs and the competition team. And Nelson, again, Centec Global, just been wonderful. How'd you get involved in all this? Have you always been interested in this space? I
have. So I've actually been a mentor for the Cyber Cub for several years.
Thank you for doing that.
And now, I just joined the Centec team about 2 months ago now.
Congratulations.
And, excited to be able to continue supporting them from this side of the fence.
Right.
And, so Centec is, we see that demand for cybersecurity professionals every day. And, I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, and very, just like Bill, very passionate about educating and mentoring and getting our next generation ready to go with, interested in the field. So many people just don't even know about it, and it's a wonderful career.
Well, they're going to know about it because it's going to be dominating what their careers are. They already have moving forward. We're chatting with Nelson Mozzini. He's the project manager for the Haiku Cyber Range of parent company Centec Global, joined by Bill Reid, academic program director for BS Cybersecurity at National University, and Lillian Maestas, the STEM chair for NDIA, who has just always been there when it comes to this. I think... to your point, Nelson and Lillian, we talk about this, and you can't talk about it enough. I think people get a little intimidated when they hear cybersecurity, and it says, listen, I'm not a coder. I don't understand how this stuff works. There are going to be so many different types of jobs in this field, whether you're a marketer or whether you're a salesperson, whether you're a creative artist, whether you're pick a topic. This is a great field to explore, is it not?
Oh, it is. And just on that same line, even psychology plays a big part. I mean, that's a little far afield of the technologies, but psychology is very important in knowing how hackers go about doing what they do.
Right.
And, that combined with the technology aspect, it's a wide open field and short order of resources. So, like Nelson said, this is why NDIA started the Cyber Cub, is to outreach to our youth and get them interested in the STEM areas.
And get them aware of, listen, and we've talked about this enough on our shows, Lillian, as you know, and Bill and Nelson, know this because it's in their DNA. But for those folks who don't and they should, I mean, listen, we all have to be our own cybersecurity experts because we all have, devices, cell phones and computers that can cause irreparable damage if we're not careful about who we're letting in and getting out. Now, that's obvious to you folks because you live in this thing 24/7. It amazes me how many people still don't look at this device called a cell phone and make a banking decision and just let somebody in and say, "Here, good, just wipe out my." It's remarkable. I imagine a lot of the SoCal Cyber Cub Challenge is working with those folks just to let them know how important this is, right, Lillian?
Oh, absolutely. We start with basic hygiene. And Nelson could get into even more details on what we train them, but from basic all the way to as much as the kids can absorb.
Right. Exactly on this. Nelson, talk a little bit about the basic hygiene. We got about a minute and a half. When we come back from break, we'll dive more into it. And then, Bill, I want to talk to you folks about all the cool things going on at National University. So about a minute to go.
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time, especially early on, and this is what we help our coaches and mentors and everything as well. So like Lillian said, you don't need to have any experience to sign up and be a part of this cup. But getting people understanding that they need to update their devices, keep them current, do things like setting passwords. If there's one thing I tell everybody to do is enable all the two-factor authentication on your devices or all your accounts.
And what is that?
So that's normally where, when you log into a website and they'll send you a text message with a second code.
That's right.
Right? And so it helps you to keep that account secure, make sure that somebody who's not with your cell phone can't log in. One of the best things you can do to protect yourself, and we help people just understand that.
No, it is, and it sounds so simple, and yet not practiced. And when people wonder why they get hacked, of course, people are trying to hack, 7,000 times every nanosecond, I imagine, and actually you're teaching kids how to hack the right way to figure out how to get some of these programs. When we come back, we're going to chat more with our friends from the STEM chair, Lillian Maestas from the National Defense Industrial Association, Bill Reid from National University, and Nelson Mozzini from the Haiku Cyber Range of Centec Global. I'm Drew Schlossberg, and you're listening to another edition of the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180. We're here today with the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Welcome to Deacon Jim Vargas.
Thank you, Charles. Good to be with you.
We have 3 minutes. Let's hit it fast and furiously. We're going to talk this morning with you about San Diego being a very expensive city, which creates a housing crisis, which is exacerbating the homeless crisis in San Diego. Let's talk about your leadership on this issue.
Sure, absolutely. We do have an affordable housing crisis here in San Diego. In fact, if you ask about the number one issue why people fall into homelessness, it's lack of affordability. And so they fall onto the streets, especially when rents go up, and rents are very expensive here. So we at Father Joe's Villages focus tremendously on housing. In fact, about 40% of our intervention is placing individuals into permanent and affordable housing. All right, so shows you the extent of what we do. And of course, there's services that go along with this, because in order for people to retain their housing, their dwellings, they have to have the services that they're necessary, whether it's mental health services or substance use disorder services, whatever that is. We have a Turning the Key initiative, whereby we'll be introducing 2,000 affordable housing units into the community during the next number of years. In fact, we just closed on a deal to purchase and refurbish a motel in the South Bay area. It's going to add 83 permanent supportive housing units. Next week, we'll be closing financially on a groundbreaking that will have 14-story building, 407 units of housing as well, taking about 550 people off the street. So housing is extremely important.
Which means you're investing a lot of capital. How are you finding that capital to solve the housing crisis in San Diego for homeless folks? 90 to 95%
of our funding is public funding. Various sources, whether it be from the state, it be local, county, city, municipality. So most of it is public funding. There's tax credits that are involved there. The capital stack is quite large, actually.
So you're finding the land, you're finding the capital, you're changing lives. How are you minimizing the risk of future homelessness for these clients of yours? We're
minimizing it through our services. We need to make sure that in order for them to retain the housing, that they receive the services that they need that are holistic and are comprehensive to their specific needs.
That's fantastic. Deacon Jim, in the last 10 years, your organization has taken 11,000 folks from homelessness to a home. So I congratulate you. Any closing thoughts for our audience?
No, that's what it's all